Chappaquiddick is a new film from director John Curran and stars Jason Clarke, Kate Mara, Bruce Dern, and Ed Helms, and is the story of the Chappaquiddick incident in 1969 when Senator Ted Kennedy, driving negligently, drove off a bridge in Chappaquiddick, Massachusetts, and in doing so caused the death of Mary Jo Kopechne. And this film is about the ramifications of that night, as well as how will this affect his life after. Now, honestly, I feel really bad for not knowing about the Chappaquiddick incident before this movie. I'm a history major and I didn't even know about this, but I mostly deal in ancient and medieval history. But what I learned about this was very interesting, and this film, although I don't think completely tells us the complete true story, the movie has a particular goal it wants to do, but there are probably things in it that are left out or ignored entirely, and that's not how I'm going to judge the film. I'm going to judge the film on the merits of what I think is a good film, and this is a really good film. First off, I have to praise the writing of the film. This is a very tightly knitted script that doesn't have a lot of fat in it, and that's really good because it's a very fast-paced movie, and it's only about the event in Chappaquiddick. That's all it's going to do, and I love that about it. It's very simple, and it's a very simple script, and I love that about it. As well as, I love Jason Clarke's performance as Ted Kennedy. He is so good in this movie, and this is the best performance I've ever seen out of Jason Clarke. I've seen him in some good movies before, but never like this, and after seeing Winchester, this is a breath of fresh air. Seeing him in a performance that's more representative of his talents. When I see Jason Clarke on screen, I no longer see the actor, but I see Ted Kennedy. He's so good. He's got the accent down. He's got the look down. And he makes this character just so complex. Just the way he acts and the little nuances he does. It's fantastic. I also love how the movie delves into the legacy of the Kennedys. Ted has always been basically like the outcast of the family. He's been the rambunctious one. And it plays into that in the movie, and we see that Ted wants to leave a legacy. But because of this incident, this might harm that. And all he wants to do is impress his father, to be like his brothers that came before him, but he just can't. And he wants to be his own man. And I think that's really a gravitating part of the film for me. It's something that I can attach myself to, wanting to impress people. But also, throughout the film, we see just how this guy makes mistake after mistake after mistake. And there's parts of it where you're like, what are you doing? And you can't feel sympathy for him at sometimes, but there's other parts that you just feel for him so much. And the performances are so good in this film. I love Kate Mara for the limited amount of screen time she's in. I've always liked her in everything she's done, and her as Mary Jo Kopechne gives a really terrific performance, and she's just such a likable person on screen, and she brings life to this dead woman, and I absolutely love that. John Curran has created just a very good film here. His directing is very good. This is the first movie I've seen that he's done, and I think he's done a fantastic job, and I'd like to see more from him eventually. Sadly, I don't think this movie's going to get remembered at the end of the year, which is horrible because this is such a good movie, but I feel it's very underrated compared to other releases that come out this year. But what we have here is a good character piece with some great performances, and it's more akin to the movie I saw last year, LBJ, with Woody Harrelson, who played LBJ in that film. That movie was a very underrated film, and I really enjoyed that. And this movie is very similar to it in a lot of ways, and I like that about it. I just overall love this film to death, and specifically, Jason Clarke's performance is what makes this movie as good as it is. His performance carries the film, and he's just so good and so believable and so likable and so hateable, and I just love everything he does in the film. I don't know how many times I could say I love the film, but I do. With all that said, though, I give Chappaquiddick an 8 out of 10. Well, guys, if you haven't seen Chappaquiddick, I really think you should. I think you'll all like it because it's a really good human story with a lot of good performances and some great directing. And it's one of my favorite films of the year, so check it out. But anyway, with all that said, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next review.